I'm Amanda Balionis, coming to you live from historic East Lake Golf Club in Atlanta, Georgia for day 2 of AWS Live with the PGA Tour at the Tour Championship. Now, yesterday, we spotlighted AWS's partnerships with the PGA Tour, and we had a ton of fun doing it, talking about the Creator Classic, interviewing some of the most influential names in the emerging golf content space. During today's show, we're going to dive into AI's impact on business in the sports world and beyond. And so it's fitting that we're here at the Tour Championship. Literally, the 10th hole is right behind us because the PGA Tour has become a testing ground for AWS in the world of sports as they continue to infuse AI-driven tech solutions into day-to-day operations of sports leagues. Now, let's take a look at what the AWS and PGA Tour partnership is all about.
As an organization, the PGA Tour has worked with AWS the last 8 years and used AI on scoring data and content creation. For example, we use machine learning to predict where a ball may land, who may make the cut, who will win an event, and even simulate changes in the upcoming schedule for event eligibility. A few years ago, we had AWS Generative AI Innovation team come in to Global Home, and they helped us build our very first internal PGA Tour chatbot, and that included 20 years of scoring data, 30 years of media guides, and petabytes of video footage or video highlights. They helped us organize our content, index it, and recommended AI services such as Bedrock, Kendra, Athena, and Q. Our immediate focus has been to develop personalized content for our fans. So I'm happy to announce that in 2025, we are officially launching automated play-by-play commentary that will review shot-by-shot player data. We are exploring synthetic voices, and one thing that a fan could do potentially in the future is pick their favorite broadcaster to have them read the play-by-play commentary. My team has used generative AI on a daily basis, and it's increased productivity by 40%. They use it primarily to write efficient Python code, solve complex business problems, summarize lengthy technical documentation, and even translate content into native languages. This has created new experiences for fans to feel closer to players and relive moments on our iconic courses.
Today, we're joined by two very special guests, AWS's Global Director of Strategic Partnerships, Kristen Schaff, and PGA Tour Chief Commercial Officer, Rick Anderson. Thank you guys both so much for being here. And Kristen, I'm going to start with you. We're seeing the term AI literally everywhere, and for a lot of us, that's really intimidating. So one, I hope you can make it less scary for those of us watching today, and also talk about the benefits of AI.
Yeah, awesome. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Beautiful day to be out on the course. We're seeing just an immense amount of curiosity around AI and really tops down alignment across companies to embrace AI in ways that can really transform businesses. And we love working with the Tour, a really great customer of ours who really embraced that sense of innovation. We heard Brian Rolap, the new CEO this week, talk about innovation and that mindset and needing that to be pervasive throughout an organization. And we love being able to partner with the Tour in ways that can really enhance fan experiences and push boundaries on what is possible for the fan. And, we've heard the Tour talk often about, the complexity of golf, which is you are, at a new location, a new course every single week. You have 18 new holes, you have hundreds of acres, you have multiple players hitting a shot simultaneously. And, the Tour is really bullish on wanting to create engaging fan experiences, personalized experiences. And so as a practical example of where AI is playing a benefit with the Tour is within the TourCast experience. We have recently launched a new product within that experience, automated commentary. So now fans not only get to watch their favorite player, but also get that contextualization of what's happening on the course, how far the ball went, how that compares to other shots, what the lie is. So we've been really enjoying seeing fans love that experience and that we got to be a part of that solution that the Tour delivered to their fans.
On a more macro level, how is AWS helping businesses implement AI more effectively?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we have some golfers watching today. I too am trying to be a golfer. I will say
We're all trying to be golfers.
Not going great, but every time I go out on the course, I can assure you that in my mind, I am going to have the best game ever. And as we all know, to do that, you need the right clubs, and you need hopefully your caddy by your side helping you really navigate through that experience.
Yeah.
And so you can consider AWS the same way. We provide both the tools and the training that companies need to be successful in their AI deployments. Actually, this year we're committed to training over 2 million people on how to use AI. And so we're excited about, seeing what businesses are able to do when we provide them the tools and the training to successfully deploy AI solutions.
I did suggest that you guys host a bunch of broadcasters for an AI broadcast boot camp.
Yes.
Can you schedule us
Absolutely.
in? Okay,
we would love to do that. Absolutely.
Amazing.
We're already doing a lot with broadcasters, so we can show you what
Perfect. Just squeeze me right in there.
Absolutely.
I'm available.
I love it.
Rick, for you, this is crazy. You've been at the PGA Tour for now 30 years. You're only 28.
I am.
So the math isn't really mathing.
Aging backwards, like my wife. My wife's been 29 for
Well done by you. Well done. I was with you at the PGA Tour's in-house reporter in 2011.
Yeah.
I think about how technology has evolved. It's night and day even since then. But for you, go back 30 years.
Yeah.
What's the evolution in the partnership between technology and golf then versus how important it is now?
It's astounding how it's changed. But first of all, I have to give you a shout, because in my 3 decades, watching you go from a reporter at PGA Tour Productions to a broadcast superstar has been amazing.
Thank you. Couldn't have done it without you guys.
On your wonderful career.
Thank you.
Look, when I started, there was barely email.
Yeah.
People didn't have computers on their desk. We didn't have a website for the first 3 years I worked at the PGA Tour. Think about that. No PGAtour.com whatsoever. No streaming video. iPhones came out in 2007. And it was just incredible to see this evolution. And really, if you think about my career, the first half, I was a lawyer, right? Most of it, I was the chief legal officer of the company for 15 years. And so much of what I did, the old school stuff, like negotiating television deals with your company and others, led me into the media and commercial space. But as each of these technologies emerged and our company tried to figure out, okay, how do we engage? What do we put on the website? We have highlights, we have an archive, that's PGA Tour Productions. But now we have this new digital group that's running the website. So who's in charge of that? Who does what? And then the first Live at 17 that we did was so bad. I don't know if you remember, but the lag.
It was great for then.
It was great for then. Like, oh my God, people are doing live on a computer. It's incredible. And as we move, and then if you keep progressing through that, so much of my career was spent in the first half as a lawyer, and the second half as commercial, as merging those things into a cohesive media business, when they all kind of came on at their own pace and at their own time, which has personally been incredibly gratifying. So if you bookend, my time from not having a website to launching PGA Tour Studios, and when we started to conceive of that, we knew we needed a partner.
Yeah.
And the technology changed so much from the first time we designed that building. It was full of servers. And then the cloud started to appear, and we started to think about, we need a cloud partner, and we found the greatest partner in AWS. And so the whole cloud infrastructure of that facility is built on AWS platform. And when you think about what that place can do, it's literally every second of content that happens out here captured. You bring it there, and what do you want to do with it?
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's been an amazing 30 years.
It's almost like before the last 10 to 15 years, technology was something that kind of came after the game. And now it's like, now we have this technology. How do we put that almost not in front of the game, but they're almost side by side now? The Creator Classic is a great example of this. Like, it's no longer just about the game of golf. It's now, how do we use technology to tell this story? They're very much side by side, rather than it being a necessity to continue talking about golf. Does that make sense?
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fully enhancing fan experiences, right? And whether fans see that or not, and it's behind the scenes doing so much to really make that game accessible.
How are other sports using AWS AI? We talked about how unique the game of golf is, but I think most of us as sports fans, we all love the NFL as well. We love F1 as well, and you guys are all in with those partnerships too.
We are, yeah. And I'll give you an example with NFL, with the season rapidly approaching, and I'm sure we have many folks out there excited and eagerly awaiting the kickoff for the season. But we've been able to work with the NFL for a number of years on Next Gen Stats, which is a platform that shows up within the broadcast experience for fans. And what fans may not know is that behind the scenes, we're processing, an enormous amount of data to be able to serve up those insights in real time. So as a practical example, you're watching your favorite team, your favorite wide receiver leaps into the end zone, makes an amazing catch, and your reaction emotionally is, that is the most epic catch I've ever seen. And we are able to, in real time, serve up a data point that says the probability of that catch was 0.3%. And so you really then have that insight to support your emotional reaction. And we do that with Formula One as well, with Formula One Insights, where every twist, every turn, every split-second decision that drivers are making, they're able to do that with data now. And it's amazing that we're able to just process that amount of data and have those sort of predictability components to the fan experience, and again, give them that insight that they can then go into their text channel and say, like, wow, did you know that the probability was this low? So we love seeing what our customers like the NFL and F1 are doing with the benefits of AI.
It always makes me laugh when you see the probability data points in golf. Fans are always shocked to see that it's basically like a 50-50 chance when players making a 10-foot putt or longer, right? Like, you think these guys, those are automatic for them, but it's not. And then you see the 30-foot putt, the 40-foot putt, it's like 2% chance of making it. So when they make it, it's unbelievable. It puts it into context immediately because the prediction's already been made. Do you remember what the data points were at the Saquon Barkley reverse hurdle?
Oh, gosh.
I would like to see that.
Putting me on the spot of a very specific data point. I do not.
But it was rare.
But yes.
It was very rare.
100%. Yes.
Rick, you know what I'm talking about, right? That was the coolest moment last season, I think. All right, so speaking of AI, how does it and how can it influence the player and fan experience? That putting stat is one that just comes off the top of my mind, that it preemptively tells you how cool this will be if they make it. But what other things come to the top of your mind?
Kristen made a really important point that's so relevant to golf about a Formula One driver and a Formula One driver, the athlete, making use of the data and craving the data.
Yeah.
And so that's what we see now. There's all the fan-facing stuff we do, which is incredible. And by the way, we're just scratched the surface of it together, right? We have so much incredible data and the stories that can be told. We're just getting into it, which is exciting. But for players, they have to have ShotLink. I mean, most of the modern players, the young players coming up, are data-driven themselves. It informs their practice. It informs their preparation. It really informs everything they do. Yeah. And there's a few places we play still in the world and on our schedule that don't have it yet. And it's an issue for
you
players.
Solved that problem for us, though, at Pebble Beach.
We did.
Which was huge.
We did, yes. And we are open for business on licensing. And we want our players to have ShotLink everywhere they play. But that's a really cool thing that we've seen, too. And the players now have their own app that's not a fan-facing app.
Cool.
That they're able to use to meet their needs for their prep and practices.
And of course, you go back to AWS, ShotLink and all those data points aren't even possible without the cloud storage of that, which is then repurposed, which I think is really cool. Yes, the players can use that, broadcasters can use that, but AWS takes it and makes it digestible for Tourcast then, right? All of those data points are now being recycled in a really important way. Yeah, do you want to speak about that? Just it's being used not one-dimensionally anymore.
Yeah, exactly. That's spot on. Exactly. Like connecting the data, that continuous flow through to the experience at the end. Yes.
So how is AI, and this is for both of you in both of your respective career paths, how is AI improving day-to-day business operations? Like, what does the AWS office look like? Are you guys just the most efficient office on the planet because no one understands AI more than you guys?
Well, I will say,
She's like, yeah, we're much better than everyone else.
appreciate is that, yes, we are creating AI services for our customers, and we are also able to utilize those things for our own internal productivity. And it's super fun. I mean, the pace of innovation here is unlike anything I've ever seen. And so we're all sort of on the first hole together, I would say, in terms of getting to use these things and like figure out what an application that would help me in my daily work. And it's really fun. We talk as a team a lot internally about how we can, again, become more productive, to free ourselves up to be creative and spend more time with partners and thinking about what the future of innovation can look like. So definitely use it a lot every single day. I was teaching my mom how to use AI tools.
Yes, Mom. We love that. I mean, Rick, what about you? When you take a look at the PGA Tour offices, they are so big now. It's grown so much. How can AI make things more effective and efficient? Not even just with like PGA Tour studios, but as an attorney, you have to think this is going to be very helpful in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I mean, it permeates everything that you do. So if you think about any group within our business or AWS business, and the way that they function and what they're responsible for, it just makes everything more efficient. So, the adaptability of it to different areas is really different. And each group kind of has to figure out how they do things. Like, for example, lawyers, if they're working on a brief, they can get started with AI, but they need to go still back into the books and make sure they're right. They put something in front of a judge, that's wrong. And other areas where you're just thinking about work that people are grinding over that's really just assembling information, that can free up so much time, for better pursuits because it's done. And so that's kind of rolling out, department by department, I would say, internally. Obviously, the big push for us is this, our media business and how we can use it to our best advantage, but also we have to adapt to it, right? So how people use AI to get information about our competitions and things that are happening and how that fits in and how we can make our platforms gel well with that. And that's another place that we're working together.
Yeah, streamlining the busy work, I think, is something everybody is looking to do. Everyone at home can relate to that, no matter what industry you work in. Now, for fans of golf who are tuning in right now, for viewers who are maybe just learning alongside of us, what's one thing you hope they take away from this conversation, other than Saquon's reverse hurdle, which we are going to get the stats on, because now I can't stop thinking about it.
I know, we will make sure we get that. Hopefully somebody behind the scenes is helping us work through that right now. I think for us, it's the kind of what I talked about previously, is that we provide the tools and the training to make businesses successful in deploying whatever use case, whatever AI application makes sense for them to solve practical, real-world business problems. And, in the world of sports, I would say we have so many examples of AI applications, from the boardroom to the locker room to the living room. We talked about next-gen stats and some of the work that we are doing around player health and safety.
Concussions, the amount of stats that you're able to collect on that with and
really using individual player data to help make the game safer and ensure they have, adequate rest time. And so, we are here to support customers in their AI journey, providing them the tools, a variety of flexible AI services that we have. So I'd encourage folks to check out some of the use cases we've worked on with the PGA Tour. Such a great partner and so leaned in on innovating and really wanting to push boundaries with fan experiences.
Rick, what about you?
That's a perfect segue to me, because I want fans to understand how obsessed we are with bringing them better stories, more information, enhancing their enjoyment, personalizing their enjoyment. And we're so incredibly focused on that. And we have the best partner in the world helping us bring all that to our fans.
That's right.
What a happy family we are, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy the rest of the Tour Championship. Fingers crossed this weather holds up for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. To continue today's deep dive on AI's impact on business and sports, we have the man in charge of executing the AI integrations that Kristen and Rick just discussed. But before we welcome him onto set, here's some background on TourCast.
TourCast is effectively the digital twin of everything that happens on the course for a PGA Tour event. It shows every single shot, and it shows all the highlights from every single shot. It brings in all of the data from all the shots too. So if you're watching a tee shot, you're going to get all the great radar data from every single shot. And you have the opportunity, since it's a digital twin, it's almost like a video game. You can actually go and move it around, and you can get the point of view of what that shot looks like. Our mission is to show the play of every single player. And they may be interested in who's on the broadcast at that point in time, but they also may have a favorite player, or they may have a player that they placed a bet on, or they may have a player that's in the part of their fantasy team that's on another part of the course or following a group. So fans really need to be able to do that, and that's what TourCast really brings to the table.
Scott, I know you're great at technology, but how did you get from there to here in real life so quickly? That's pretty impressive. Now, we're going to talk about how the tour is using AI in front of the camera as well as behind the scenes, but I'm an in front of the camera gal, so let's just start there. Tell me what's happening in front of the camera that viewers might not be realizing is AI.
Sure. So a lot of what we're doing on our digital platforms now is powered by AI. Our golf bet profiles every week are powered by AI.
Yep.
So we have 140 articles that go out every single week that's related to that. And certainly with the TourCast, you saw the commentary that's happening there. And more in front of the camera, we hope to do things like that on Every Shot Live at the Players Championship coming up in March.
Cool.
And a number of other outlets. So you're starting to see AI make its way into all of our broadcast and fan engagement activities.
What's cool is you guys are able to track, I would argue almost immediately, what new things you implement that fans are like, yep, more of that, or like, oh, maybe they're not really understanding that quite yet. What's something that you guys have implemented that fans immediately, you're like, okay, we can't give them enough of this?
Sure. So most recently, it's our hot streak. So if you look
I'm
at the
obsessed with the hot streak.
You look at exactly. So we came up with a really clever icon that's on the leaderboards now and everywhere else. So the minute a player gets going, whether they just make an ace or like an eagle or something to that effect, or they're making a couple birdies in a row, if you open up the app, you immediately see who's making that move, who's going up the leaderboard, whose win probability. It's part of our machine learning, which is AI activities. So that stuff is really taken off with our fans. And so we're really seeing fans dive deeper into our apps and websites and really getting to know more of what the players are doing at that moment in time.
It's also a really great reminder that it doesn't have to be just because we're talking AI and technology. It's not always the most complicated thing. That's right. That makes the biggest impact. I remember logging on to the PGA Tour app and seeing that Johnny Cash Ring of Fire for the first time. Yeah. I didn't know what was happening. I screen grabbed it. I posted it to my story, and I was like, I don't even know why I love this so much, but I do. Players are loving it. Yeah. They're all realizing I want a Ring of Fire around mine. When something like that kind of takes on its own storyline, what's the reaction internally? And what was the origin story? Like, who comes up with this idea and who says, yeah, let's give it a shot?
Sure. So we have a great product management team, and there's a member there, Jay Choi. She does a great job on all of our products. She had this idea about how to build this out, how to present it. And then they went and actually took it to fans in our fan council.
Interesting.
And the fans in the fan council liked it. So we thought, okay, so this will be a good idea. So our product team built it out. They started working with the creative teams to come up with the Ring of Fire and figure out how we could emphasize that. And we've seen a lot of other sports do similar types of things with color and animation. And so we got it out there, but we did not expect the reaction that we got the first week. We thought we put it out there and everybody would kind of get used to it, but then immediately everybody was like, wait, what is this? Like, now I can see what's going on. We got a lot of, one of the most positive feedback situations we've had in a really long time.
It's fun. I mean, you're certainly not expecting the players and the players' wives to take notice the way they are too.
Right.
It was a home run from start to finish.
Thanks.
What's next for the fan experience? When you see something like that, is it always going for that home run, or are you guys always just trying to incrementally get better across the board?
So it's tough to find the home runs. I think the home runs just happen when they happen, right? And so really for us, what's happening now with the work that we're doing with AWS is really about how do we use AI to hyper-personalize what a fan wants to see. Yeah. So if you're following 4 players on the leaderboard, what you're going to see from us in the fall here, and then very much so at the beginning of the next season, is what we're calling Your Tour, which is going to be a highly personalized content feed that has all kinds of content. So if you say, I'm following these 4 players, it's actually going to show you content based on those 4 players. It'll be everything from their videos, which will generate on the fly as they're going around the course. It'll be stats, it'll be commentary, it'll be photographs from the team to Getty, everything that can happen right then and there. So you're building. So really, what this is allowing us to do, and you know this, you know how hard it is for us to cover everybody in our sport because there's, this week we have 30 players out here. Most week we have 100 plus players. They're in 18 fields of play. I think we're capturing 72 million data points across 4 days at an event. So it's really hard to scale it and bring that coverage to our fans. So what we want to do is let the fans scale and cover, get that coverage for themselves.
Yeah.
And so that's what this hyper-personalization approach is going to be. So we're pretty excited about your tour, and you'll see that in the fall.
I try to explain that to people all the time, why it's so difficult. I'm like, it's not one ball, two teams with TV timeouts where everybody stops for us, right? You're covering hundreds of players, multiple balls in the air at the time, and any story can break out at any time. There's just no way to predict it. So it's really cool that fans can go on to any of their preferred apps and find what they're looking for now. Let's go behind the scenes. I imagine it's a lot like our broadcast team, right? What you see is that final 10%. The 90% is really what allows us to present, but there's so much going on behind the scenes to make it all happen.
Yeah, and we have a fantastic group of people, all the way from the ShotLink teams, all the way up to our digital and product teams that are providing them. One, we got to get the data off the course. So the ShotLink team does a great job of that. Ken Lovell and his team are doing that. His job is to make every data point available to us so that our team can turn and go, hey, we want to do something like the hot streak, and then how do we build that out? And then very important for us, because as we've learned over the last 2.5 years of really digging in on generative AI with AWS and the Bedrock tools, is really being able to make sure that the data has to be accurate. The name of what we do is accurate.
Has to be right.
A player hits a 385-yard drive. He doesn't, you don't want it to suddenly be a 400-yard drive or a 200-yard drive.
Yeah.
So we spend a lot of time building out systems that also use AI to validate the data all the time. Because our whole thing is about facts and context. The facts are the thing that actually happened. How far did that player hit that ball? How far did the drive go or the putt go? But it's the context. Is that player now, because he hit the longest drive of the day on the course, we should tell people that. Or if he has a 125-yard approach, he makes that 10% of the time, he puts it within 10 feet, right? Or if he makes this next shot, he might take the lead. And so now all that context is what we're trying to provide for every single player. And that is a whole series of services that have to be built, both from giving the data to the models. Actually, I think we just heard a roar across the course, so hopefully something is going on with a hot streak again. And so that's one of the things that's going to be really important. We want to bring those types of events to fans all the time. So one of the things we're working on is a roar alert, so that you know what's happening at any point in time.
That is the craziest thing to me, is AI can actually say, we heard the crowd noise, and then we're determining that that's newsworthy enough, and you can get almost an automatic update on your phone. So it almost makes the fan experience, so often people want to watch on TV because they don't want to miss what's happening. You guys are allowing people to enjoy the fan experience, whether they're here or at home, and not feel like they're missing anything. Right? That to me feels huge.
That's right, and that's a big part of it, because over the years we've started showing more and more shots from the PGA Tour. I think when I first started, almost 20 years ago now, we're showing 3 to 5% of all shots. Now with the broadcast and PGA Tour Live, we're showing about 30% of the shots altogether. All the other shots are seen on our digital platforms, right? Or seen on social media or other places. And so we're really more about how do we show the best players in the world on the best courses in the world, no matter who that fan wants to follow it.
And instantaneous updates. So if you're following one of your favorite players, but someone else does something crazy, you're not missing anything. The FOMO, you're eliminating the FOMO.
That's right.
You're welcome. You can use that.
I was going to say, I'm going to use that now.
You can use that tagline. Give us a little sneak peek. Give us some breaking news. What's next? What don't people know that you know that we should know?
Sure. So one of the things that we're doing that we haven't really started talking about yet, we're actually launching in the next few weeks, is for the players. We're launching a new app that's just an internal app. It's called Player Central, and it just is going to serve the players. They're going to be able to do everything from commit, withdrawal, and follow what they need to do when they get on site for a Pro-Am, to the minute they walk off the course, all of their video is in that app. All of their stats are immediately put in that app as they happen. So players like Scottie Scheffler, who we've been providing this video for years, they're able to go in the app and with their coaches and their trainers, even their families, be able to see that right away. And so we're pretty excited to start turning what we've learned in AI on to services for our players. And eventually what I imagine is a player is going to be able to tell an AI agent, these are the things that I want to look at as I come off the course. And when they get off the course, their agents can be able to tell them from that app, these are all the things that you excelled at. These are the things that you might want to look at, and actually present that video to them right away.
Are you saying you're going to basically dismantle the idea of an in-person agent? We're not going to need them anymore?
No, you still need the in-person agent.
Okay,
You got to do all the other stuff.
Everyone can breathe a sigh of relief on that side of it. That is so. Is there anything else that we should be made aware of? I think that's really cool on the player side. Obviously, it's not something the fans going to be able to enjoy. But even as I'm saying that, that's not necessarily true, because now you're arming that player with their highlights, with their stories that they can then turn around and share on their own social platforms.
That's right.
So it probably is enhancing the fan experience.
It is going to enhance the fan experience. And what we've learned in that app is we're going to bring some of that into the main app over the next year. And then we discussed before, I think the Your Tour feature at the beginning of the year is going to be our next big feature that comes out, and be able to kind of build. What we see is building on that. The more that we learn how fans use it, the more we learn what they enjoy and how that they use the hot streak, those types of things that we want to make sure that they're seeing right away, and begin to kind of really diversify the types of content that we present to fans even further than what we do now. So that's really going to be our focus for the next year.
And before we let you go, I do think it's really interesting, and Rick kind of alluded to it, how much his job has evolved and changed because of technology and honestly the way the game of golf has grown in at least the last 5 to 6 years. Your job has evolved a lot.
Yeah.
Let's talk about where your job was when you first started 20 years ago to now, how quickly you have been able to kind of reinvent yourself and become this guru for all things AWS, AI, technology, pushing it forward. It's fascinating.
Yeah, I think it's, for me, when I first joined the tour in 2005, it was just the website. There were no apps, there was no social media. All that stuff was coming at us, and it's just started to accelerate. It's created new ways for our fans to actually engage with our players. And it's really allowed, and you may remember this when you were with us, it was always a conversation of how do we get our fans closer to our players? And that was one of my missions, was working with you and the content teams, and how do we introduce.
You told me no a lot. I don't know, Scott. No, I'm just kidding.
I didn't tell you too much. So the way that we can reach the fans now is the biggest.
It's unreal.
Thing is we can actually, connect a fan with a player with a piece of content that they want to do and show what that player is, or even not a piece of content. We're talking a lot about competition, but about who that player is. That's the biggest thing, is who are the players' personalities? And so if we're watching something like, one of our, the drop or something like that, now we can turn those around very quickly. So we went from okay, we're telling a story, leaderboard and 3 hours of television every day, to really, we are, with the digital side, we're talking to fans 24/7.
Yeah.
Our players are talking to fans 24/7. And for me, what's always been exciting over the last 20 years is every 2-3 years, sometimes faster, there's a new piece of technology comes along.
Yeah.
I love playing with technology. I'm a golfer, not a very good one, but I like to include the technology in my golf, which shows me just not how good a golfer I am. But it's a lot of fun. So I'm always playing with that type of stuff. And I do think about it as, how would our fans do it? How would somebody else use this technology to think about the PGA Tour? So just the evolution of technology and the way I've gotten to play with it, and the opportunity to do that here at the Tour has been really exceptional for me.
Yeah, Roger Steele and Chris Solomon noted that Tourcast did them no favors, because we used to say there's no pictures on a scorecard, but now there are, and there's no hiding from it. For mediocre golfers like the rest of us, we don't need that in our everyday lives.
Tourcast did a great job showing what happens when you take the creators and put them on a tournament-ready course. And so it's tough.
It wasn't pretty for most.
Right.
Scott, thank you so much for joining us. What you and your team are doing is absolutely incredible, and we cannot wait to see what's next. That Ring of Fire, it was well done. We can't wait to see how you top that. Good luck.
Great. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.
You can feel the energy bringing together the passionate, energetic AWS community to learn from each other.
The future with AWS I'm most excited about is building upon this incredible partnership that we have.
What AWS is doing with generative AI on top of the infrastructure capability that they've built and enabled all of us with means that what we can build is limitless.
Well, I'm almost sad to say it, but this is going to do it for our first edition of AWS Live with the PGA Tour right here at the Tour Championship. We've seen how AI-powered insights and experiences are changing the game on and off the course. Now, I would also like to thank all of our guests: Chris Solomon, Roger Steele, Chad Mumm, Dan Rappaport, Julie Souza, Kristen Schaff, Rick Anderson, and Scott Gutterman. all for joining us the last 2 days. Now, if you want to follow every swing, every stat, and every storyline in real time, make sure to download the PGA Tour app and check out TourCast, your front row seat to tour and all of technological advances the Tour and AWS are working on to enhance the fan experience. If you'd like to learn more AWS and their AI-driven tech solutions, please visit the AWS website and their social channels. And before we wrap up, just a special thanks to those behind the scenes who brought this show to life. You all crushed it. Good luck to all of the players competing in the rest of the Tour Championship this weekend. We'll see you all soon.